What is up? And welcome back to the Road to Redemption podcast. Are you guys nice and cooled out, man? Are you nice and relaxed after that islandy breeze, ska, reggae intro that we've got here? I like it. I think it's nice. I think it's nice and relaxing. Nice and relaxing. My dog hears me talk, so she immediately walks over and goes, "Hey, how can I fuck this podcast up for you? Let me come over and just start sniffing around the microphone." Okay, enough being weird. Crack open this Zevia Cola here. Not sponsored by the Road to Redemption podcast. But yeah, we will get into sponsors. Delicious. So let's talk, guys. We'll get into the sponsors a little bit later. Let's talk about gym etiquette again, shall we? It's a common thing on my mainly my Instagram channel, and I have the cool new Road to Redemption podcast studio here being my living room. I've got it set up a little bit different. I've got it set up now to where I can scroll through my phone, play on it, go through the Instagram feeds here, while still being able to record my podcast, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, let's talk about some gym etiquette. First off, I go to Gold's Gym. Most people know that. If you follow the Instagram channel, I go to Gold's Gym. And Gold's Gym is kind of, it's the mecca of bodybuilding. It's what most people think of when they think of bodybuilders. So I'm perfectly fine with competitors being in there, and competitors, they work out a little different way. I got no problem with it. I was thinking of being one myself. What I do have an issue with, and what we were talking about today as I was finishing up my arm workout, like you guys know, because I'm a douchebag, I was doing arms, and that's my favorite day. And when I was done, I walked outside. They got a little supplement thing there, a little supplement bar, and there's a guy, and I've seen him around. I don't know his name, but we've seen each other in the gym. We were talking. One of the most annoying things that people do in the gym is either one, you curl the dumbbells with your legs touching the dumbbell rack. What are you doing? What in the heck are you doing? Why are you so close? Gotta check my form, bro. I gotta check out my form. No, you don't. Not that close. Move. There's people trying to get in front of you to get the other dumbbells. Move it. And especially, let's think about it. The average person, the average male or female in there, you're not curling. I'm saying the average. Slow down. I can already feel the muscle heads starting to gear up. No pun intended. Starting to gear up their anger, saying, "Bro, I can curl 50s. Good for you." Talking about the average is when they're curling, it's around 20s to 30s. That's smack dab in the middle of most dumbbell free weight sections. Move it. Get out of the way. You're not that special. Also, doing bent over low rows using the dumbbell rack as the place to put your hands. Move. You know what? And a lot of people, I know why they do it, because they see The Rock doing it. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he's a monster. And the reason that he does that, guys, he has his own fucking gym. He can do that because he's the only one in there. Now, yes, I know he goes to the clangin' and bangin', whatever he calls it, his Iron Paradise, which is a public gym, but you notice he's there at 4 in the morning. He's the only one there. If you're the only one in there, you work out however you want. But when it's a room full of people and people are trying to work out on their lunch breaks, move it. So yeah, and then so you got that one, and then on top of that, people who are posing. So posing is another part of competition. I've got nothing against it. But most gyms, so the Gold's Gym here now, specifically has a posing room. Most gyms that have a lot of competitors will have it because they get tired of people posing in the middle of the freaking gym. Don't do that. Because I get it. I understand the posing thing. It's a competitors, you have to do it. But other people don't get it, and you look like a douche. As if I'm not one who's I'm no stranger to looking like a douche. I literally put my entire life on the internet, so I'm sure there's plenty of people who think I'm a douche, so what the hell do I know? But it's just, word from the common man. I took a poll with all the common day gym goers, and they said you're looking like a douche. So, anywho, we got some big news. We got a new sponsor at Movement MVMT watches. Very, very excited about that. The code for them is going to be just my name, CAM, with the first letter of my last name, W. So the code is CAMW for at Movement MVMT at Seabag Locker Coffee, which is super exciting. We're actually heading the brand ambassador search on that one, and your boy, am going to be the one that is making the final approvals of who's going to be an ambassador for them, which is crazy. I'm getting a ton of DMs, a ton of DMs of people saying, I want to be I want to be an ambassador for Seabag Locker Coffee. My first question is always, have you ever tried the coffee before? And the answer is usually no. Out of, I think, the 15 or 20 DMs I've gotten so far, I think 2 people have actually said they've used the coffee before. What are you doing? Why reach out to a company you've never tried? I wouldn't want to represent a company I know nothing about, and I don't even know if their product is good, because what if I said, yes, your product is amazing? Or, I put it out, you post about it. Seabag Locker Coffee is awesome. Use code JimBoJob or JimBobJoe, and it's garbage. It's not. Luckily, Seabag Locker Coffee is amazing coffee, and anybody would be completely right to advertise for it. But what if? You're crazy. That's what we were talking about in the last podcast about protecting your brand. You should know the companies that you're actually advertising for. So those people immediately, to me, get kind of discredited only because, I don't really want somebody advertising for our company that would just advertise for anybody. Sketchy. Sketchy Jeff, I'm calling you. I'm calling you Sketchy Jeff. But yeah, so Seabag Locker Coffee, we are undertaking the search for brand ambassadors right now, which is cool. If you guys want to check out Seabag Locker Coffee, go do that at Seabag Locker Coffee on Instagram. If you want to try the coffee, you can use code CAMFIT, CAMFIT, for a discount. The discount for Movement gets you 10% off the watches and the sunglasses. Seabag Locker Coffee, I believe, is the same. You get 10% off. Then you got Ambition Threads Co. Always amazing. Quality, stylish, swaggy as hell. CAM5 is the discount code for that one. For the ones, I thought about switching it over where the discount code would be like R2R, but it's already there. I'm not gonna change them. Alpha Elite Performance, you guys can always use CAM20 to check out. That's a veteran-owned Green Beret Foundation supported. There are Green Berets there. You guys can always check them out. Supplement company, they're awesome. They need to send me like official reads that they want me to read, so that way they're not just getting the talkings of a dumbass here. But yeah, and then you got Halo Top Creamery, where you can buy that at whatever local store they sell it at. You don't have a discount code because you can't buy ice cream in the mail. You probably can. Someone right now is like, well, actually, I bought gourmet ice cream from France and it came in dry ice. Well, guess what? Congrats on that. You spent your money on silly things you could have got at the United Dairy Farmers. Anyway, guys, today is going to be, if you can't tell, a little more lighthearted than usual. I don't so much I didn't come into it with a topic, though. With it being lighthearted, I instantly start thinking about things that are not so lighthearted. Had to take a swig here. My voice gets super dry when recording this here podcast. So I'm going down to see my daughter this weekend. It's the first weekend that I get to take her out. It'll be my wife, myself, and her, and this will be the first time that her and my wife have met. And we get to take her out for 8 hours and just kind of take her around the city. Now the way that my ex-wife's and her lawyer had it set up, I cannot cross the state line. So if you know anything about, or if you just want to Google Maps it, go on Google Maps and check out Lawrenceburg, Indiana. I call it the armpit of the tri-state, only because the little tiny town that they live in, literally 5 minutes outside of my daughter's driveway, you can be in Ohio, Kentucky, and they're in Indiana. So for them to put I cannot cross the state lines means that I literally have to stay right in the little 40-mile radius of the little crap hole town that they live in. And I got really, really mad about that yesterday. So let's talk. I got really, really mad about that, and also I was very nervous to go down, and this will be the first weekend I spend with, first time I spend with my daughter alone. So obviously, her and I don't have that father-daughter bond, that's, oh my gosh, she loves me so much, I'm her dad. She's actually encouraged to call another man dad. So that makes it very, very tough. I fight an uphill battle all the time because every time she sees me, she's kind of thinking that I'm just kind of a cool, goofy guy to hang out with. She's only 2. She doesn't really, she doesn't really acknowledge me as her dad yet. So I'm guessing that what's going to happen is when I go there, it's not going to be very pleasant. It's going to be a very high-stress situation for everybody. And yesterday I kind of came off my normal kilt, and I was like, you know what, I'm not going. I told her mom, I said, I'm not going. This is bullshit. It's set up for me to fail. I'm not going. And I talked to my wife after I calmed down a little bit, and she's like, I think we need to go. I think we need to go and do this. I think it's important. So we're going to go down. Going to go down and see her. And I was just thinking, with some of the things that have led up, things that have been said by, my ex-wife and my daughter's mother. And it was an interesting topic that my wife and I started talking about because obviously I listen to podcasts all day, every day, some of which are just for comedy, some of which are make me really, really dig deep. If you want to dig deep and just have your mind just blown on things, the Joe Rogan Experience is a good one. If you want like comedy type ones, the Monday Morning Podcast with Bill Burr, the Congratulations Podcast by Chris D'Elia is a good one. But I was in a really, really deep mindset when I thought this because my ex-wife has put me through a lot with this. She encourages my daughter to call another man dad, and she just makes it very, very difficult for me to have a productive relationship. She pretty much makes it impossible. She sets the whole relationship up for failure on purpose, so that way she can continue playing house there in Indiana with the new setup she's got. So what I was thinking, I said something that was kind of off the cuff, and I was like, how people say, I hope there's a special place in hell for people that do things like that. But then I talked to my wife, and when it comes to consciousnesses and when this life is over, it really made me think, what if I'm a person that believes in higher powers, the higher power that, as I call it, is God, but I don't believe that God is what the normal, the today's Christianity would say that God is. I don't believe that God hates, homophobics. Homosexuals. I don't think that God takes a strong stance against, living together before you're married. I don't think God nitpicks on stuff like that. The God that I believe in is a God of love. I believe you should love everyone regardless of who they are, what life choices they make. I think it's just best. I think you serve people the best by showing love in all situations. I don't believe that condemning anyone is ever a way to live. And a biggest part of my higher powers, I know that I'm not in control of anything. that I definitely, there's been so many situations that I could not have done it or gotten out of it on my own. I believe that there's a higher power at work, but do I believe that there's a magical man up in the sky? And I don't know about that. I believe it's a higher power. Sometimes I refer to it as the universe. I do believe that there is that power there, and it is very much at work in all of our lives. And what makes me say that is I had asked my wife. I completely came off the subject of my daughter and my ex-wife, but I was just saying, it's crazy to think about, isn't it? People, there are some people, and I think we all know them. I think it's safe to say that we all know these people in our daily lives that or who we've had to encounter, that we can truly say are just not good people. To their core, I like to believe that all people are good. I truly do like to believe that all people are good, but I think there are truly bad people out there that just do bad things. I don't know their motives all the time. I think a lot of it's selfishness. I think a lot of it's defense mechanisms. I think a lot of it's fear. But the outcomes of that over the years and years and years of acting that way truly make some people so hardened that they actually do become bad people. And I was talking to my wife, and I said, it's crazy to think about, because in modern day Christianity, we hear a lot heaven, hell. I know the Jewish faith doesn't have a hell. I know different religions all have different things of what happened to you in the afterlife. I truly believe, we as people are filled with so many emotions, and we harbor, if you look really at anything, whether it be like the law of attraction, you look at anything, energies is really the key component of what drives human beings. Your energies that you put off, I definitely believe affect the energies that you get back, and the actions that come back, and the way that the universe serves you, life as a whole. And so I don't believe that your energy just dies. I believe you're filled with so many emotions, which come from your energies. Love, sometimes hate. We have strong dislikes for things sometimes, and the good things that you do for others and the bad things that we do to others. I don't believe that when your heartbeat stops and your brain goes thinks its last thought, I don't think all that just dissipates. I think that energy is definitely, goes somewhere, and I don't know about reincarnation or anything like that. It may be, and that's kind of what I had asked my wife is, do you really think, because I had just made the comment, I hope there's a special place in hell for people that try to drive a wedge between a parent and their child, but when I said it, I always like to try to evaluate the things that come out of my mouth, and I really did evaluate that when I told my wife, I said, do you think that there is actually a ramification for people who are genuinely just bad, shitty people? She kind of hears enough of my crap to know, I'm constantly talking about something, and as of late, all my stimulation, everything that really makes me me, comes from deep, meaningful, insightful conversation, and sometimes she's not in the mood for it, especially after a long day at work, so she kind of goes, I don't know. But I wanted to keep going with it, and I said, it's crazy to think maybe the Christian belief does have something to the judgment thing. Do I think you walk up and God goes, okay, sit down, we're going to go over each situation? Yeah, I think Bill Burr was the one who did a comedy bit about it, where he was like, well, he opens the book of your life and goes, well, I don't know about this one right here. I don't think it's so much like that. I don't think that's the case, because we're flawed humans. We make mistakes all the time. I think what you're judged on at the end of your life, however it is that you're judged, whether it be the universe judges you and decide what happens to your energies when you're done, or how your energies will be redistributed. But I don't think it's by situation by situation basis. I think one that would take an entire eternity to go through an entire life of mistakes, especially for people like me who have made plenty of them. But I was thinking, for genuinely bad people who lived a life that was filled with really trying to do bad to others and wished ill will to others, do you think that maybe, the universe, I don't believe all people are doomed forever. That's why I kind of have an issue with the whole idea of an eternity in hell or something like that. I don't think that people are doomed forever, because I don't think people as a whole have lived an entire life of either good or evil. We've all had both. So I was kind of wondering, like, man, do you think that people, when we're done, you get judged and go, okay, you pretty much didn't live a very good life. You weren't very good to people. You were pretty selfish. You were filled with a lot of anger. You made a lot of decisions. You affected a lot of people out of the things that you chose to never deal with. What I think is best to serve your energies going forward is your energies are going to serve 3 life terms as a rock. You're going to get kicked around, and you lived a life of a victim your whole life, feeling like you got kicked around by the world and society. So now you get to live 3 lives of a rock or an ant or a fly, and you can see how good you actually had it. And you get to live that 3 times over, and then after that, we'll give your energies another chance, and you can be a person again, and we'll see if you learned your lesson. Kind of plays into the people that feel like they're an old soul and that their soul is matured. Makes sense. It's just a crazy thought by a guy that runs a social media platform, but I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then for genuinely good people, you wonder the same thing, like when your energy is gone and you go and you're being judged by whatever power that it is, if you believe in that kind of thing, and you go, well, what about genuinely good people? What do we get to come back as? And I was thinking, dogs are just the purest form of love. A dog loves you no matter what. And dogs genuinely have a pretty easy life. They get to kind of lay back and kick back and relax. I feel like their energies are always good. Now, not always, things happen, but I was trying to think of what you would serve your life as had you done it right and treated everyone well. Maybe like a tree. You just get to hang out in the elements, but sometimes it's kind of different because the tree bears all the elements, and I'm just trying to think of just calming things, and that's what I was really pondered by all night last night. Even as I kind of drifted off to sleep, I had thought, wow, what if that's the way we all lived our lives? What if we lived our lives trying to make the best decisions we can in the moment to be the best person that we can to others, and the way that our energies was sent out and received back to us is how we're ultimately judged. If you are overall a good energy and you gave people a good energy by being around you, you got to, when your time in this body is over, you're rewarded for that. Maybe your energy gets to go and you can continue affecting people's lives in a positive way, in whatever way the universe seems fit, however you're needed at that time. And then if you're not a solid person, if you wished a lot of ill will on people, and you were very hardened, maybe you had to learn some lessons. And the universe is infinite. I truly believe that. I don't believe that we're the last, I don't believe we're the first people that have ever been here, and I definitely don't feel like we're the last that are ever going to be here. So the universe knows the energies that make all this stuff up. It's seen it before. I think as people, we like to think that we're so important. Even as individual people, we think, well, my experiences mean something. I don't think our experiences mean a lot. They mean a lot to us. But I think the world's seen it before. I think the universe has seen every situation play out before, so it knows how to deal with people and deal with energies accordingly. So when you see someone that's had such a hardened heart for so many years, it goes, okay, living 3 lives over as a fly. The life of a fly is seemingly a couple days. So if you live 3 lives as a fly before you get another chance, it's essentially 3 days. Then you come back maybe as another person, or you get to enjoy eternity somewhere. I don't know. But it's interesting to think, isn't it? I really found it. I really found it interesting, and it made me affect how I treated my days. I thought, wow, what if every time I was ungrateful, I had to serve a day as a rock being kicked around, driven over, kicked out of lawnmowers, or a fly constantly being attacked just for living my little life. I was being chased by brooms and all this other crazy shit. And then I thought, but what about the other way? What if I genuinely achieve my goal of impacting others and genuinely making a difference on other people's lives and being a positive light to people, that maybe my energy gets to be something. I constantly find myself saying, God, I just need a break. I tell my wife all the time, I just need a break. I could really use a break from having to be strong and having to be mentally strong and go through hardships like I am right now with my daughter. And I sat here in my living room in the same spot that I'm sitting now, and I almost started to cry. I was like, I'm just frustrated. I just want to do the right thing, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what the right thing is, and I get so mad about it because I just want to do the next right thing like I preach to everybody else, but sometimes I don't know what that is. And when I get in those states, I try to think now, okay, all I can do is be the best impact on the most people that I can. How can I do that? I go see my daughter and I show her I love her, even if it's not easy and I'm going to have to sacrifice. Boom, decision made. And, obviously my wife helps me to get to those places, but in that, I think, is how we should make every decision. Take yourself out of the picture. How can I impact the most people in the most positive way? Bam, make that decision. That's how I like to live my life. So if I do that, and I live an entire life that way, even though I may not play by a set of rules that was written down in a book, millions of years ago or whatever, or I don't see it necessary to shun people because of the way they live their lives, I think whatever it is that created us all would have to appreciate the fact that you genuinely had the best intentions for the people that were here. The other things that were created, I just can't see living a life of division and a life of contempt for others as being something that you're rewarded for in the end. But hey, that's just me. And I'm just a guy that runs a podcast and a fitness social media page where people like it when I post shirtless. Because I posted today a picture with my shirt on. People didn't give it so many likes. So shame on all of you. I'm just kidding. Love you guys. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to vent all that out to you. I don't know if you guys really give a shit about stuff like that. But I found it incredibly interesting, and I actually found it incredibly kind of therapeutic to just think about things that way. I kind of reevaluate how I think and how I approach life all the time, and it seems like I said earlier, now that I'm getting a little bit older, I'm not really entertained by TV shows and music and stuff like that. I am sometimes, but I get my most satisfying source. I feel the most fulfilled when I'm really challenging my mind to think about things in a much deeper way. And I think sometimes people look and like, well, Cam's really starting to lose his shit. Like, what the hell is he talking about? But it all makes sense to me, right? Like, when I listen to stand-up comedy, that makes sense to me. I get that. And I feel like I can do that, even though my passion isn't to get up on a stage and do it. I feel like humor is something I get. And I think that thinking very, very deeply and vastly open about things is a gift that I've been given. I have no closed-mindedness about me really at all. I'm willing to sit down and listen to anybody on any topic and go, okay, but what about this? And they can go, well, that's absolutely crazy. And it's good. Yeah, it might be. But what if? We have no idea. We don't know anything. And my whole life was changed by that when I was watching a YouTube video one time. I think it was called Crazy Love by Francis Chan. It is a Christian sermon. And he shows, he's on Google Earth, and he puts a pinpoint on the top of his church. And he goes, okay, here we are. There's 150 of us in this room. Here we are right now. And he scrolls out one click. And now he's in the neighborhood that the church is in. He goes, and here's our neighborhood. He scrolls out a little bit more. And he goes, and here's our city. He scrolls out a little bit more. Here's the state of California. And you scroll out a little bit more. Here's the western side of the United States. Scrolls out a little more. All the way until he gets to the point where he's literally looking. He goes, this is the planet Earth. And you're like, oh man, that's cool. Spans out again. This is the Milky Way. This is the galaxy that we live in. And he spans out again. He goes, there's 100 million galaxies. And ours is right there. And you're looking at the Milky Way galaxy is literally the size of a needlehead. And you're like, wow, I'm really not shit. Like, I think I know so much, but I'm not shit. You know, you feel so small when you realize that you are just a human being on this earth, in this country, in the state you live in, you're in the city you live in, you're one person in all those galaxies, and we don't have a fucking clue what's in all those. So I think to think outside the box a little bit is probably a good thing to do, and it's very humbling, you know, very, very humbling, and it makes you think about how little do we know, but more, how much can we learn? How much can we learn about ourselves and the way that the world works and the way that just, you know, maybe the way that we live for eternity. Who knows? Who freaking knows? But guys, I love you to death. I hope you guys know that we've been going on about 32 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up today. I wasn't even really planning on doing a podcast today, but I thought that may be something you guys are interested in. Maybe not. I really don't know. But I thought it was cool, and I think it's something worth thinking about. You know, some people will immediately probably turn this one off 10 minutes ago because I started talking about God and they didn't make it past that. But, hey, that's the whole point of putting out a platform is I get to kind of voice my opinion, and those who like it, and those who don't. Guys, I hope you know how much I love you. Like I said, go check out Movement Watches, MVMT. Use code CAMW. You got Seabag Locker Coffee, which is CAMFit, Ambition Threads Co., CAM5, and Alpha Elite Nutrition is CAM20. Go pick up Halo Top at your local grocery store or whatever you got. Cue the soothing music.